Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Matt, and for today's devotional, I wanted to highlight a little section out of Mark chapter 9. In verse 44, Jesus says, I tell you, anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name because you belong to the Messiah will certainly not lose their reward. What I find encouraging and interesting about this particular text is that Jesus is giving his disciples insight into what it means to love each other and love other followers of Jesus Christ. And I think sometimes as Christians we kind of we emphasize our love for everybody, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. But there is a difference between how Christians love the world and how Christians love one another. And I think there's just something just kind of that happens naturally in that way. If you are a follower of Jesus Christ, you naturally come into contact with many of your fellow believers throughout the week, at church and in Bible studies and small groups, things like that, where you do have many opportunities to show love to your fellow believers. But what Jesus is saying here, I think, is that following Jesus means that you really love other followers of Jesus, and you bless them as much as you can. He says anyone who gives a cup of water, which is such a small thing you can do for someone. It's probably the least amount of service you can give to someone, and so anyone can do this essentially. Even the most poor can give a gift of a cup of water to someone, and when you do that, when they are followers of Jesus, he says you will not lose your reward, and so he's highlighting how Christians are to love each other, and really that's one of the primary witnesses to the world around us is how Christians love one another. John chapter 13 verse 35 says, Jesus says, by this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And that's our business. That's our business as Christians, is to love one another. And I think we can fall into the temptation of really disliking the church, perhaps, or disliking other Christians, and if we want to look for reasons to become cynical or perhaps bitter, we can find them very easily. But we really have to push against that, because Jesus talks about loving your fellow Christian as vital to the witness of the church. Because when things go poorly, when the world isn't functioning well, when people who are not following Jesus look around, and they're looking for answers as to, explain, the choices that they've made and how they're living. Maybe they're missing something. They're going to see Christians loving each other, serving each other in the midst of that, and that will hopefully reveal to them who Jesus Christ really is. It's an important witness that we have as Christians to love each other, and it's a beautiful thing too, because I've recalled several seasons in my life where if it were not for the church, I don't know what I would have done. I certainly couldn't have done anything without Jesus Christ, but it really was the church who showed up in many ways on behalf of Jesus, because of their calling into the faith, and they loved on me and my family. And so when you go through seasons like that, it is another testimony as to the importance of the church and the importance of loving one another. There are no solo Christians out there, right? There are no, and if you can find problems in the church, so what? I mean, it doesn't really mean all that much. What is meaningful is how you love your fellow followers in Jesus Christ. That was just the short thing I wanted to share today. Have a lovely day. Bye.